Hi, today we're here to talk about the cnVision product portfolio from cnVision Networks. cnVision is a purpose-built wireless platform specifically designed from the ground up to work with video surveillance backhaul scenarios. As you can imagine, video cameras are going up everywhere in urban cities and dense populated areas where fiber and copper may not be easily available. And today wireless is there, but in a lot of cases there is no customization and specific features built into these wireless platforms. What you see here is the cnVision portfolio. There's about 5 products here. And the software inside them, the packaging, the products themselves are all designed to provide reliable connectivity for mission-critical video transport. In this segment, we will just do a little introduction on the hardware, do a little box opening, but in follow-on segments, we'll go through the product configuration, how to bring up a link, as well as physical installation in terms of the cameras, power requirements, etc. We will also attempt to cover things like distances, ranges, and some of the characteristics of the product. So with that, the first product that I have in my hand is a cnVision. This is the micro product, which is meant to cover very short distances. It's a very small form factor product. As you can imagine, on city installations and whatnot, we don't want a big physical presence on that light pole, which is already crowded. So this is a very simple form factor product. It's essentially a 1 mile range platform that's going to do really well for any type of video backhaul, 4K and onwards. The box themselves, as you'll notice, has some critical information in the back with the deployment scenarios, some key features and things like that. It will typically come with a little manual that you can download by scanning the QR code. So this is the micro. You'll see LEDs that will indicate the signal strength. When you open the bottom cover, you'll see a port for the power in. One thing to highlight here is that these devices also come with a PoE brick supply. In the portfolio, which you can see in one of the boxes on the flap, there's 5 different products. 2 of these products we define as a hub, as in that's the center. And then the 3 other products serve as clients. However, one of these 2 products here can also be configured as a client. So essentially you have 4 platforms able to do hub functionality and 3 platforms able to do client-only functionality. What I wanted to showcase in terms of the brick, or the power supply, this is an indoor power supply. So in the typical deployment, we would anticipate that as this goes up on the pole, this power supply sits inside an enclosure, such a NEMA enclosure commonly seen in video surveillance deployments. The power supply will have a gigabit data plus PoE port and the gigabit data port only. In that scenario, this device has to be powered by this because it is a 30-volt product, not a standard 48-volt AF product. With 30-volt product, you would connect the cable to this radio. Similarly, you'll do the same thing for just about all the platforms except the cnVision Hub 360R, which is this box. The Hub 360R is a very unique product as well because this one is a omnidirectional antenna, which means it has coverage in 360 degrees. So one of the advantages of this is that alignment and aiming becomes a lot easier. Assuming you're putting this up on a central location, you can now go put subscribers at different points around this device and they will all connect up and give you the connectivity. This is the only product in the portfolio that uses its own power supply, but you can use a 48-volt PoE switch. If the camera that you're deploying happens to be an AF 48-volt switch, a power requirement, then this device will work with that. All the remaining devices use 30 volts. It is important that you do not plug these devices in the same switch that you're using to power a standard camera, making sure that only the 30-volt PoE is being used. I did not bring all the products here to showcase, but I do want to give you a preview of one more device, which is the micro platform. The best way to think about the micro platform is if this is your smallest form factor, shortest distance, this becomes your mid-level, up to 5 miles or so. You'll notice that the orientation is also horizontal, which actually does really well for interference mitigation. So in summary, here's a hub, there's a middle distance client, absolute short distance small form factor client. And needless to say, as I highlighted in the product portfolio tab, that you also have a Flex R model, Hub Flex R, which tends to be the one where you can connect a third-party antenna to it if you are going into some advanced deployments. In most cases, the Hub 360R will suffice. And then last but not least, there's also a Client Max R device, which is a panel antenna and bigger than these two and tends to provide the longer 5 miles and greater range. And it also has IP67, which is the ruggedization. That concludes the overview of the hardware. And now we will move on to the segment on installation.